We are ready now for our third quarterfinal of this K1 North American Championship. Fighting out of the red corner from Seattle, Washington, the legendary Maurice Smith.
I'm more of a tactical fighter. I'm not a brawler. I can, but I choose not to because it tends to last longer, especially in a tournament style, a tournament format. Tonight, what I'm gonna do to Pedro is I'm gonna be a tactician. I'm gonna stick and move. I'm gonna win the fight on pure skill, not so much brawn, because there's more to the fight than just, being tough guys. So I'm gonna play a little smarter game of stick and move, cat and mouse.
In the blue corner of this K1 quarterfinal from Tijuana, Mexico, Pedro Fernandez.
Ladies and gentlemen, our next bout, the third quarterfinal match this evening, is scheduled for 3 rounds, 3 minutes in duration. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner. He weighed in at 217 pounds. He's wearing the red trunks. He is from Seattle, Washington, with a very fine professional record of 57 wins, 8 defeats, 4 draws, 44 wins by knockout. Here is a very popular Maurice Smith. And his opponent fighting out of the blue corner, he weighed in at 230 pounds. He's wearing black trimmed in yellow, and he comes to us from Tijuana, Baja California, Mexico. His record stands at 15 wins, only 2 defeats, 11 wins by knockout. Introducing Pedro Pitbull Fernandez. Your 3 judges scoring this bout will be Dick Houck, Al Lefkowitz, and Dave Moretti. And your referee in charge is Mr. Ray Balowitz.
Okay, obey my commands at all times. Protect yourself at all times. Touch them up, go back to your corner.
There's a man who has won titles in so many different ring styles. Maurice Smith. 57 wins in his career, 39 years of age.
Oh, timekeeper.
Taking on the younger Pedro Pitbull Fernandez. Maurice Smith in the red, Fernandez in the black and yellow. This was kind of an unknown factor, Pedro Fernandez coming in. People don't know too much about him. He won a fight against his Mexican arch rival just about 5 weeks ago.
Fernandez has earned his way into this K1 competition, but he's drawn on the first round probably the most experienced K1 fighter, one of the few elite K1 fighters in the world that's been in more than 3 or 4 competitions. Maurice Smith's experience certainly gives him an edge in this bout.
Let me interject before Don. I know Don wants to jump in there. With experience, Don would say, comes wear and tear, right, Don?
Absolutely. I mean, Luke's got a lot of injuries, but he knows what his limitations are, and he's going to use his experience tonight. He's got almost 3 times the number of fights as Pedro, and he's very experienced. He wants to use that experience tonight and win this fight, not get hurt.
So far, a look of measured patience on the face of Maurice Smith.
In contrast to the indecision of Jean-Claude Loyer on whether or not this is his last night of fighting, Maurice Smith has said this will be his last year of fighting. His goal, of course, to make it to the K1 Grand Prix in Japan. He doesn't really do much other fighting, and he would love to go out in that glory.
As you can see with his experience, Maurice is doing things a little at a time. It's like cutting down a tree, little chops at a time. Not one big swing, but you can cut the biggest oak down a little at a time.
It's a double-edged sword up there both ways, too. Fernandez holds one.
No takedowns.
Smith looking for a possible throw. He's been warned that that's not allowed in tonight's competition. Smith looking for some weaknesses in the defense of Fernandez.
Break.
Almost nonchalantly walking away from his punch is Smith.
Smith is the kind of fighter that once he sees those weaknesses, even if it takes a round and a half, he can exploit those in a short period of time.
Fernandez tried to sneak something in. You know, he lackadaisically went in there. Then that spinning back fist, that's the kind of sucker punch that takes you out when it lands.
But you saw Maurice Smith smile as if to say, not someone who knows what I know.
I think I was closer to that punch than Maurice Smith was.
A well-placed leg kick by Smith, just to the right spot, a few inches north of the knee.
Well, he's scoring cleanly with nice, clean, sharp thigh kicks. Maurice has scored repeatedly.
He's doing enough to win the round on points. He knows if he doesn't find an opening to win by knockout, he'll need to have won by decision without expending too much energy.
Well, it's the end of the first 3-minute round. We don't see a lot of feeling out rounds in K1 activity, but I think if there ever was one, that was one for both fighters.
About the closest that I've seen, but as you would guess, someone like Maurice Smith would try to do that, particularly against an opponent like Fernandez, who was somewhat tentative in the first round.
As soon as he jabs, he covers up and can't see, okay?
I think Maurice probably scored more points. Here's one of them.
Well, this leg kick by Smith doesn't look like much, but it's devastating. Don Wilson, you gave and took a lot of those in your career.
Well, I took them from Maurice Smith because I fought Maurice Smith years ago. But what that does is the shin is like a baseball bat, and it lands right on the muscle of the thigh. And repeated blows there basically will just make that muscle useless. You won't be able to walk on that leg.
Pedro Fernandez says he is dedicating this fight to all his Mexican citizens and fans in this important holiday for Cinco de Mayo. Round 2, Smith in the red.
Fernandez looking like he wants to pick up the pace. Looks like he's not sure what to do.
Well, he's got a good cover in there. Mike goes into what they call a shell. It's like a turtle going into a shell, but he's got a strike from there. He can't score points just by covering up.
Trying to kick from that position as well. He's not going to get the good vision that he's going to need.
He's cutting off his own lateral vision, and he's a little too tight. He's leaning forward, difficult to kick effectively from that position.
If Maurice would kick to the body, Mike, I think he would get those hands down. They're very high around his head, and it's going to be tough to knock out Fernandez if he keeps his hands up like that. But a good solid kick to the body or punch might bring those hands down.
Break. I think you mentioned tight, and I think both physically and mentally Fernandez is tight.
Oh, that was a good kick on Fernandez's thigh. Nice clean score.
You can't blame Fernandez fighting a living legend like Maurice Smith. However, sometimes the best defense is a good offense, and that's no more true anywhere than in this sport.
Fernandez definitely, I think, if we're right, he's going to have to open up a little bit to win this fight.
Oh, uppercut snuck in there.
Come on.
Uppercut got in, popped his head up. You know, Fernandez said his inspiration in the sport is Maurice Smith, and now here he is fighting his inspiration.
A daunting task indeed, and then you add that to it. And as you mentioned, Maurice just looking not to get hurt in addition to winning this fight. And so far, I think he's accomplishing both of those goals.
Can't get lackadaisical, but Maurice does seem to be controlling the action.
But Fernandez continues to move forward.
We're halfway through the second round, and Smith has basically worked up a sweat, but he's also got himself probably a 1-point advantage of the scorecards by now.
He's been peppering that left forward leg of Fernandez. Now he goes up top. He was so loose, Smith was, in the pre-fight weigh-in.
Another good kick there.
Lives for the moment. Yeah, he continues to work on that leg.
Now that's a scoring area, so he is scoring points, not just doing damage. It's a nice clean score.
Limping Fernandez noticeably now here late in the second round. Oh,
right hand. He's a little high on the head, otherwise Fernandez might be on the floor right now.
I think Smith was looking to make sure he won this round with that punch.
Saw the tentative Fernandez turtle up once again.
The key is to win these fights without getting hurt and not getting tired. I think Maurice has probably won these 2 rounds, but I'm not a judge.
He honestly told me he doesn't think he really can go punch for punch against these big guys, that he's going to have to do exactly what he's doing here. End of round number 2. Just work it, win the rounds by points if necessary. Fernandez, not exhausted, but he certainly has been doing a lot of work late in the round.
Well, the best kick of this round was, for Maurice Smith, was that leg kick to the outside thigh. Smith overextended himself a little with the follow-up, but he served his purpose. He gained his goal, which was to come on strong at the end of the round.
To actually get the emotion of that exchange, but vamonos, vamonos right there at the end. Get it going. Round 3.
Maurice Smith has not sat down between any of these rounds. Kurt Jensen telling Smith between rounds, don't get careless. Fernandez is going to try to win by knockout.
Did Jensen train every fighter in Washington?
Just about.
Left to the body, bring those hands down. And he's constantly working that left leg, left thigh. He's really intimidating Fernandez at this point. Fernandez is backing up. Maurice is not even throwing technique.
We have seen 2 very technical fighters in the older fighters in both Duke Rufus and now Maurice Smith totally dominate their opponent.
But Fernandez looks as though he just doesn't have the confidence to close with Maurice Smith. He's far too defensive. This is a fighter that must know he's behind on points. He can only win by knockout. Needs to go forward.
Instead of cutting the ring off, what he's doing is following Maurice around the ring. You see him just following him. He needs to cut the ring off, make Maurice stop, and then fire a punch or a kick. But I just don't think he's got the experience to deal with Maurice Smith.
He's getting punished for every technique he throws, and Maurice is just waiting for him to throw the kick, throw the punch, hence an opening.
Maurice is doing 2 shots to the head and 1 to the leg. 2 to the head, 1 to the leg. He's done it all night long.
Great. Step back.
What Smith has to watch out for is not be thinking about his next round opponent just yet. Anything can happen.
Well, I saw Michael Dokes win every round against Foreman, and Foreman landed 1, it was over. So when you talk about these heavyweights, anything can happen.
And when desperation enters the window also. Less than a minute to go in this 3rd quarterfinal.
He's really worked the legs, though.
Come on, break.
Well, to Fernandez's credit, he's not shying away. He continues to fight with Smith, even if he's not taking many chances. He's hanging in there.
Maurice, who probably has this fight won also, is not shying away. He's not going to go defenseless, but he could perhaps rest a little bit, but that's not his style.
He's still, oh, that was a knockout kick right there. He was shooting for the head, knockout.
And he lost a tie. They're going to call time with just about 20 seconds to go. And actually one of the ties on his trunks has undone. Not a bad time.
Pull up. Come on.
Pedro Fernandez is concerned. Maurice Smith did not need this distraction.
Time.
And he's back. We've got just 15 seconds to go right now.
It appears that Maurice Smith's groin protector has come a little off center.
I'm sorry. Fight. I couldn't hear it. Fight.
Final 5 seconds. going to find its way to light, and an anticlimactic ending to what is assured. Then there it comes out. We needed some closure. Maurice Smith probably won each of those 3 rounds against Pedro Fernandez.
Well, I'd say Maurice Smith fought just about the smartest fight he could have fought. As long as Fernandez was covered up so well, and it would have been energy expending and difficult if Maurice knocked out Fernandez, and Maurice just didn't have to do that.
If he doesn't win this decision, I'm going to do what Frazier said he was going to do to Ali. I'm going to crawl across the ring. I'm going to kiss his feet. I'm going to leave the country and not come back for 3 months. This one, I can call definitely Maurice controlled the fight. He's in the semifinals. Happy to see it because he's a friend of mine.
And well, he'll fight the winner of the next bout, Gunther Singer and Paul Lalonde. He'll have quite a bit of time to rest, but not sure that he needs it. He would probably just love to fight the next bout right away. I think we are ready for the decision, and to make it official, we will throw it up to our ring announcer, Jake Gutierrez.
Ladies and gentlemen, after our 3rd quarterfinal bout, we go to the scorecards. We have a unanimous decision. All 3 judges scored this bout the same way. They saw it 30 to 27.5. Advancing to the semifinal round in the red corner, Maurice Smith.
So a convincing victory for Maurice Smith. And we saw it the whole way. Pedro Fernandez would go back for a little more seasoning.
He will. Call me.